So what are the 7 lessons I've learned from Harry? It was hard to break it down just to 7, I've got to be honest with you, but this is what I've come up with. Number 1, he is the ultimate 1% man. I know Dave mentioned this book the other day, Atomic Habits. I read it. I'm like, this is Harry. Now, it talks about 2 things, Atomic Habits. It talks about creating habits and how to keep them, and also talks about the 1%ers that you can change in your life and have a compounding effect. But the first thing it does is to create habits. For instance, deleting Facebook and Instagram off your phone and just using it on a desktop will give you 2 hours back a day. It works. I did it. You know what happens? Facebook serves up the good stuff on your desktop because they want you to come back. They're like a social media drug dealer. The other habit was, instead of you go training in the morning, leave your gear at the front door the night before. You're far better, more chance of going training if it's there already rather than getting up at 6 o'clock and trying not to wake your partner up. It works. The other thing is, it talks about, is the 1%ers. This guy, Dave Brailsford, before he got involved with the British cycling team, they hadn't won a medal parade, they hadn't won a Tour de France for over 100 years. He came along, he changed the 1%ers in the team. Things like getting surgeons in to teach them how to wash their hands properly so they wouldn't get sick. Getting someone in to work out the best pillows for their necks so they won't get sore necks when they're riding. Next thing you know, they're winning medals. I'm reading this, this is Harry, and I'll tell you a story. So he invites me to lunch about 15 years ago. This is World Tower, tallest residential tower in the Southern Hemisphere. He kept the top third, as you do, but he kept the top floor for himself, for entertaining, right? I walk in there, top floor, 75th floor, the butler opens the door. I walk in there, I go, something different about this apartment. Apart from the fact that it's got 12-foot floor-to-ceiling height, all glass and looks open city. It's like owning a floor of Centrepoint Tower. I walk in there and go, something different. There's no bedrooms, right? It's purely a kitchen and bathrooms and just entertaining. Hi, Dave. It's pretty amazing. I sit down next to him. This is at the lunch. I said, Harry, I've written a book called Claim It. Catchy title. I said, it's about property depreciation and investment. Very good. That's how he talks. Very good. I said, it's about depreciation. Very good. I said, but Harry, there's a chapter in there about you called High Rise Harry. I didn't get a very good. So I said, you can see from the photo, it's A4 with a staple. It hasn't actually gone to press yet. And with Harry, there's always 6 handle honours at the table. So I give it to him to read. He reads it. You could have heard a pin drop. There was silence for 15 minutes while he read this chapter. Finished his last page. Very good. Yes. I said, Harry, can you write something for me so I can put it on the back of the book? So I give him a pen. He grabs a napkin. He writes on the napkin. And this is what he wrote. I made up my mind to work with Tyron when I saw him. I never went to another quantities fair and I never regretted it. Right? It's pretty cool. And he hasn't. He still hasn't. Anyway, you know why he wrote on a napkin? Harry's never used a computer in his life from what I've seen. Why does he need a computer? All he needs to know, if he buys land for $150K per site, builds it for $350 and sells it for $1 million, it works. He doesn't need a Macquarie Bank bloody Excel spreadsheet. So this is where the 1% kicks in. The book gets published. I send him a copy, the first one off the press. Dear Harry, thank you for your loyalty, etc. The next week, he's obviously read it. His EA's ringing me up and says, Tyron, Harry wants 6 more copies. Why? He wants his executive team to know exactly what you do. Okay. And now the 1%. For the next year, he summons me into his office, sits me down, teach me something new for 5 minutes. I have to teach him something new about depreciation for 5 minutes for a whole year. By week 38, I'm running out of tips and tricks, let me tell you. But if he's doing this for me, for one little niche of his business, if he's doing this for every other trade, every engineer, every finance manager, how's his 1%ers compounding going? All right? His thirst for knowledge is like nothing I've ever seen. He knows more about depreciation than my competitors. He loves it. It helps having $26 billion in depreciable assets to worry about it. But it's Harry.